Hi, my name is Bintu and today I'm going to tell you how to validate your web form in JavaScript. Whenever you fill in any registration form, something like that, your form is basically validated. Validate means you are asked to enter correct information. If you enter wrong information or the information which does not matches with the form, you are given an error message and you are told to correct it. Suppose I am entering my email address here and I enter it deliberately wrong. For example, it is giving you an error message, invalid email, and the cursor is blinking at the same box. It is not allowing me to go somewhere else. So unless I correct this error, it won't allow me to go further. So this is validation. I have entered correctly. I enter the password as say, and when I click on another field or when I press tab key to move further, it is giving me again an error that the password should be of at least 6 characters. So if I correct it, the error message will automatically get removed. The password and retype password should match, but if it is wrong, again the moment you press tab key, it will give you an error that both password does not match. Suppose I enter the password correctly, the error will automatically get removed. I'm asking for a name and I press tab key, it will give me an error that the name cannot be blank. The moment I press the name and I press tab key to move further, the error is removed. So this is form validation, and you have to create a validated web form in your web app. It's an essential thing in your web application. When you click on submit, validated data is stored in the database. Right now it is just displaying a message that all fields are successfully validated. Let's see how the code of this is written. In this lecture, we'll be creating two documents. One is your HTML program, which will display the web form, and second is the JavaScript file through which you will be validating these forms. This is a simple HTML form which is going to display the web form to enter the user information. So this line is saying that with this HTML form, link checkform.js, this JavaScript file. So whenever you call any JavaScript function, this file will be opened and the function will be executed. This is a simple HTML form. In the body, you are defining a form and you are giving a name, user form. It is through this name that you will be accessing all the boxes, all the HTML elements. To align your labels, these email address and these boxes, you are creating an invisible table just to align them. And you are making the border 0 so that the outline of the table should not be visible, and these are spacing between the cells, between the columns. So this is the padding and the spacing between the cells. You are beginning with the first row. This tr begins with the first row. You are making a line to display enter your information, and this enter your information will cover 2 columns. So at the center of the 2 columns, your message will appear enter your information, and the row will get over. In the next row, this is the column, this is the beginning of the first column, you are displaying one text email address. So this email address will appear through this column. /td means the column is over. In the next column, in the same row, you are displaying a box of size 20. You are expecting the user won't enter the email address of more than 20 characters, but if he does, this box will automatically scroll. So this is just the initial width of the box. Type is equal text means whatever text you will enter, it will be displayed on the screen. If you write type is equal password, it will display asterisk here. So that is password is used for entering password usually. Whatever the content will be stored in this box will be accessed through variable name email address. So this is that email address. Whatever you are entering here will be accessed in the JavaScript through email address name. On blurs group checkmail means when you move to the next field, when you leave this field, this checkmail function which is defined in checkform.js file will be executed. Span additional email msg. To display this error message, I am adding one span element and I am assigning that ID to that span element as email msg. Next is your text box is password. The box will be of size 20, and whatever you will be entering here will be accessed through the variable name password. And for displaying an error message, the span element called as password msg. When you blur, when you move from this password field onto the next field, this function check password length function of JavaScript will be called, and obviously it will check the length of the password that you enter here. After this row, the next row is for entering retype password. Again, you are assigning the length as 20. What will happen by defining the type is equal password here? Whatever the content will be typed by the user won't be visible on the screen. If you write type is equal text, obviously anybody can see what is the password being entered. In this retype password box, whatever will be entered will be accessed through repassword variable name. And when you move on to the next field, it will execute this check password match function of JavaScript to check whether the 2 passwords entered exactly match or not. And if they do not match, the error message will be displayed through the span element, and the ID given to that span element is repassword msg. And the last box that I am validating is the name box. I am giving it the length of 50. The variable assigned to this box is complete underscore name. And if user moves on to the next field after this, this check name function of JavaScript will be executed. And for displaying any error, I am using the span element of ID user msg. I can add more boxes to enter country, state, zip code, whatever. But right now, just to make you understand, I am making the form very simple. The next row is displaying submit and cancel buttons. If when user clicks on submit button, only alert message, a box will appear saying that all fields are successfully validated. Basically, here we call a function to save the content into a database. Anyway, this is only the HTML form, where the actual heart of this lecture is the JavaScript functions which check. This function, if you remember, it was checking whether the email address entered by the user was correct or not. This is accessing the span ID which was attached to the box email address to display the error messages. I am calling a JavaScript function document.getElementById. I am accessing span element email msg and assigning it to the div element. So div will become the synonym for the email msg span element. I am setting its color to red to display error messages. This is checking if there is any earlier error message being displayed. Remove that. Remove any text box or whatever it is being displayed. This is a regular expression to check email addresses. There are several regular expressions to check zip code, to check phone number. These are just like formulas. You are invoking one function, exec function, with this regular expression, and you are passing the email address which is being entered by the user. If the email address entered by the user matches with the regular expression, an exec function will return true and will assign to match variable. Otherwise, if return false to the match variable. Checking if the match is false, it will append a child to the div element, that is to the span element, and it will display the text with the message invalid email. So this will appear if the email address is invalid. The user is compelled to remain at the email address box. Dot focus means the cursor will blink at the email address variable. This check password length function is supposed to check whether the password entered is of less than 5 or less than characters. So again, you are accessing password msg, that is the span element for displaying error message, assigning it to div, setting it to red color. You are removing if there is any error message being displayed earlier. Checking if the length of the password is less than or equal to 5, it will append text node displaying the error message. The password should be of at least size 6. So you are displaying error message through the span element which is just adjacent to the password box, and you are compelling the user to remain at the password box to enter a password of at least 6 characters or more. Return false if password is of not that length, and it will return true if the password is of 6 or more size. Here you are checking whether the two passwords, the password and retype password, matches or not. So again, you are accessing the span element to display error message, assigning to div element, setting it to red, removing earlier messages. Checking if the password box and the retype password, both value of the both is exactly same or not. If it is not, it is displaying the error message the two password does not match. If the password do match, it will return true. This check name is supposed to check whether the user has entered name or not. So what you are doing here, you are accessing the span element to display the error message if you want to, setting its color to red. You are removing the earlier messages. If the user have not entered any name, obviously the length of that box will be 0. So it will display a message that name cannot be blank, and you will be compelled to stay at the complete name box to enter at least a name. So this is the form validation, and if you find any problem, just mail me at bmharwani@yahoo.com. Thank you. Have a nice day.